when we think about the Bill of Rights, let's start with the questions we should be asking that are useful in examining and understanding a Bill of Rights.
Sure. Some of the questions that we ought to ask when we're thinking about a Bill of Rights is, what kind of rights should the Bill of Rights encompass? What are the kinds of things that we ought to tell people they have a right to do? Some of that really is triggered from our thoughts behind the Declaration of Independence. We talk about unalienable rights that folks have, and in some ways the argument is those are the kinds of rights that we ought to see in the Bill of Rights. Some of them are historical in nature. For example, the Third Amendment, talking about the quartering of soldiers in people's houses, fairly historical in ways of thinking. Others, the Fourth Amendment, which we'll certainly get into later, are just as current today as they were back then. So when we're thinking about bills of rights, we have to think, what is it that citizens ought to have? What kinds of protections ought they have against their governments? Those are the kinds of things that you'd want to put into a Bill of Rights. There are a couple of issues to consider before studying the Bill of Rights. Who can hold rights is an important issue. Individuals, classes, or groups of individuals or institutions can all exercise rights under the Bill of Rights. Of course, the Bill of Rights protects many other specific rights. For example, the Second Amendment protects the right to bear arms, which the Supreme Court has found includes a right to personal self-protection. As a whole, the Bill of Rights protects the kinds of rights you would assume that people would need to exercise to live out free and full lives consistent with the promises of the Declaration of Independence and the body of the United States Constitution.